Republican U.S. Representative Keith Self from Texas. Representative Self, thank you so much for some of your time today. You were on the House Foreign Relations Committee. You are a veteran. The White House press secretary was asked about a potential path to end the protests in Iran without military action. I'd like to listen to some of what she just said.
I think one thing President Trump is very good at is always keeping all of his options on the table, and airstrikes would be one of the many, many options that are on the table for the commander-in-chief. Diplomacy is always the first option for the president. He's told all of you last night that what you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite differently from the messages the administration is receiving privately, and I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages. However, with that said, the president has shown he's unafraid to use military options if and when he deems necessary, and nobody knows that better than Iran.
So, Congressman, I mean, what is your reaction to what we just heard there, and then just your overall assessment of the current situation in Iran?
Oh, I believe that is true because, look, publicly, Iran must keep up the brave face. They must beat their chest and say, we will attack Israel, the U.S. They've got to do that. But behind the scenes, they are weaker than they've been in a long time. They've lost a lot of their proxies in the region. The oil is hurting them. So I believe that that is a true statement. Now, my impression is that this is real this time. The Iranian people have made efforts before to overthrow the regime, and they've been squashed. This time it looks real to me. I think they're making progress. When you talk about whole cities being held, when you talk about generals moving to the revolution, I think this is real. So I think there's a real possibility. Now, President Trump is exactly right to support them verbally now, and if need be, with action. It's a lot harder to support a revolution than it is to attack a nuclear program. So let's don't be fooled into thinking this will be easy. But President Trump does have the power and the wherewithal and the power projection to do it, should he choose to do so.
All right. So, Congressman, you posted in part on social media that although resistance will be difficult, the Iranian people are up to the task, and at the right time, they will prevail. I believe that time has finally come. This is a bit of a two-part question here. What kind of action would you like to see? Do you want to see America go into Iran, take out the Ayatollah? And then the president has said that the U.S. is going to help the protesters. Do you believe we owe it to the protesters to go in and help protect them?
Well, let's look at history. We owe it to Iran because President Jimmy Carter, very personally made the decision to support the Ayatollah, the original supreme loser. He made that decision. He put him in power over the Shah, thinking that he would do better in human rights. Look, the Iranian people have suffered for 45 years because of Jimmy Carter's decision. Let's be very clear. Now, the Iranian people have decided they've had enough. They are now pushing back, and I think they will probably be able to overthrow the regime. But make no mistake about it. This still has time to play out because the regime will be absolutely brutal against their own people. Well, now, what would I like to see the Americans do? Do what we can to support them, but this is a different operation than attacking a nuclear program, as I said.
And so I want to talk about the former White House National Security Advisor, Ambassador John Bolton. He spoke to NewsNation on the Hill yesterday. He says that the regime is now, quote, very vulnerable. I'd like to listen to some of what he had to say.
I think removing the Ayatollahs from power is absolutely central to any effort at long-term peace and security in the Middle East. I think the regime is at its most unpopular point since the 1979 revolution.
So each popular movement since the Shah was overthrown in the 70s has brought talk of regime change and then a brutal response. Do you think we are seeing a turning point here? Do you think this will lead to a regime change in Iran? Why could this time be different?
What we can say is that it's much more widespread. It is spread across every sector of the Iranian government and cities. The military is now involved in some defections to the revolution. That's new. That's different. So that's why I agree with John Bolton in this case, that they are vulnerable. Let's watch it play out, but the brutality will be there. But let's see if the people can rise up, accept the sacrifice that it's going to take to do away with the Ayatollahs. look, the supreme loser today is 86 years old, so he doesn't have very long to live in any case.
Congressman, we are seeing what's going on right now in Iran. We know that the Senate just narrowly advanced this War Powers Act, this resolution last week, which requires the president to seek congressional approval if he does go back in, bombs Venezuela or elsewhere. Is there anything else you would like to see Congress do here?
Yeah, eventually, if he is going to have sustained military operations anywhere, he will come to Congress to brief us, and they've already done that. Not only the Gang of Eight, the Gang of 12, but they've given a classified briefing to the House and the Senate in general. So they are keeping us apprised. Now, it's up to the Congress to decide what we ought to do. Is that going to be an authorization for the use of military force? Is there going to be some action under the War Powers Act? I don't know what Congress has got. I've not heard what we are moving toward. But look, the Democrats advanced that with the help of a few Republicans, and the Democrats will do whatever they can to stop President Trump's advances around the world to advance freedom.
Last question for you, Congressman. You are a Republican representative. You're from the state of Texas, which has been very supportive of the president. Right now, we know Marco Rubio is meeting with the Honduran president-elect. There is so much happening globally. It's always important to be aware of that, stay on top of things. But do you think President Trump's America First agenda is still front and center?
It is because obviously Venezuela and Cuba are linked at the hip. Greenland is now a part of the talk of the Western Hemisphere because it controls the approaches to the Arctic, very important to the Western Hemisphere. And so that's where much of the president's attention has turned recently. Of course, the Middle East will always take attention because there are always things happening in the Middle East. But his America First in the Western Hemisphere actually is taking shape. Venezuela, Cuba, Greenland. Let's see how that plays out. But yes, I think his America First policy is actually being enacted.
Republican Representative Keith Self from the state of Texas, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.